2025 is the year that you have decided that you're going to start reading. But there are so many reasons why you have not started reading yet. Even if you did start years and years ago, maybe in school, maybe in college, you had to drop it off. Now you want to get back into reading, but those reasons keep coming in the way. I am here to solve that issue because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the most popular reasons why people don't start reading, why you may have read during school or college, but now you are not able to read. And I'm not only going to highlight the problem, I'm also going to give you a solution, what you can do about it, and give you book recommendations so that you can start your reading journey today. Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing very nice. I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. Hi, if you're new, welcome to the channel. I really hope you enjoy the content, and if you do, please do consider subscribing. A little bit of a note for everybody who already watches my videos, so please skip ahead to the problems and the solution and the book recommendations. Happy New Year, you guys. This is the first video that I am posting. Also, you may be seeing that the background is new and you may be wondering, where is Anchal? Though if you have seen my shorts, you also know I did move out of my old house and now I'm in my new house. That is not the final library. I still have to set it up completely, but I am so obsessed with that background that I wanted to shoot a couple of YouTube videos, a few shorts and reels here and there, so I can immortalize it forever and we can together look at it at all times. The moving vlog, bookshelf tour, all those sorts of videos are coming up. I just wanted to make this video first and foremost because we are going to have a lot more people in our reading community this year, along with the solution to the problems of why you have not started reading yet and what you can do to start reading in 2025. I have also tried to include multiple genres, so you have a lot of options. Even then, if you do have any questions, if you want to know more about how you can start reading, obviously I have this entire channel dedicated to that, or you can also post your question in the comment section. I will take a little bit of time to get to everybody, but I will make sure that I'm getting to everybody in the comment section of this video. Now, without any further ado, let's begin. The number one reason why people don't start reading or they have stopped reading is I don't have time. I totally get you, especially right now during my move. There was so much going on. It was so hard for me to actually find time and sit with a book, even if it is literally my job. So I cannot imagine how hard it can be for people whose job is not to read, who have to take care of their children, who have to take care of their job, their business, their house, whatnot. Adulting can be hard, and yes, we do not have time to read. However, we are here to find solutions, and the solution to this is to keep your phone away. I would recommend you wake up 15 to 20 minutes earlier in the morning, but I am not going to tell you to do that because I myself would not do that. It's very hard to wake up in the morning. Add another new habit to your reading habit already. So I'm not going to tell you to wake up earlier, but I think you can go to bed earlier, 15 to 20 minutes earlier. Keep your phone away and pick up the book that you want to read. You should be going for short books, you should be going for fast-paced books, you should be going for bingey books, books that you won't want to keep away given that you're literally dropping your phone to read a book. I have two YouTube videos where I have recommended short book recommendations. I will put that in the description, you can check it out. I also have a video on bingey books, I'll put that in the description. I also have a lot of thriller book recommendation videos because they are very fast-paced, very catchy. We'll put that in the description, but for now, the book recommendations I have for you are: 1, The Lantern of the Lost Memory. It has a very captivating storyline. It is a place in the middle of the living and the dead where you have this magical lantern. You put all of the pictures, then it will show you your entire life. This book is extremely short. It captures you very well. It is a great nighttime or morning time read, and it is very emotional. It ties up all of the loose ends. It captures your attention. It is one of the best books that you can start your reading journey with because you will see how books make you so empathetic, how they make you feel emotions that you would not expect from books. Next up, I would recommend a few thrillers. First up, we have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. The reason I'm recommending this particular thriller is because I have actually recommended this to a few of my non-reader friends. I have told them, I know you don't read books, I know you don't have the time, you don't have the attention span, I get it, but just read this one once. A few of them have read the book and they were like, oh my god, I did not expect that from a book. This is a story of a couple who has gone to a snowy area to celebrate their 10th anniversary, except that they get stuck over there and a lot of truth begin to come out. It's a mystery thriller, so it grabs your attention. It's only 300 pages, which sounds like a lot, but it actually goes by really quickly because of how it is written. It has short chapters. Every chapter ends in a hook, so you will be hooked to the book, and the plot twist in the end is amazing. Another thriller exactly like Rock Paper Scissors is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden is anyhow popular for her bingeable books. They're so fast paced, there's something going on in each chapter, and similar to Rock Paper Scissors, this one also ends up in a hook. I binged this book within a few hours after I was in a reading slump, so I also was not able to read, and this book a little bit rescued me. It's a similar story of a couple that goes into the mountains and gets stuck because it snows a lot, and a lot of truth start to come out. Another genre I would highly recommend if you do not have the time to read but you do want to start reading, you want to see what books are about, are graphic novels. So first up we have Heartstopper, the entire series. It is the story of two boys who fall in love, but then there are so many hurdles that they have to cross, and you cross those hurdles with them. Because it is a graphic novel, you can actually finish one of the books in 30 minutes. I am telling you, because I finished one of the books in 20 minutes. I picked it up thinking, oh okay, I'll read a little bit now and then I'll read a little bit later. I finished all 4 books or 3 books in 1 to 2 hours. Another book that I would love to recommend is Chotu by Varun Gupta, which is the story of a father and a son. The father has an aloo paratha shop and the son is falling in love. Only the book is set during the partition times, and we see how that affects his life, his father's life, his love life, and there are so many layers to it. It is definitely one of my most favorite graphic novels ever because it looks like a picture book and you're like, okay, let's have some fun, but it is so layered and complex. Reason number 2 why people don't start reading or are not able to continue reading: I don't know where to start. This is one of the biggest reasons why I did not start reading. The best solution I have for you is you pick up a book based on the genre of movies that you already watch, or if you are bored of the genre of the movies that you already watch, pick a book opposite to it. You watch romance and thrillers and you really don't want to get that from a book. You have historical fiction, you have literary fiction. On the other hand, you can also pick up books based on the genre of movies that you already enjoy watching. For example, if you like cutthroat slasher movies, then the best recommendation for you is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This one actually felt like a movie script to me, the way it was written. It is a story of a woman who is being chased by an author because she gave his book only 1 star. Now he is chasing her to kill her. It is adrenaline pumping, and if you have been thinking to yourself that you can only get that adrenaline from watching slashers on screen, read this one and it will prove you wrong. One paragraph of our main character will be going on, and the next paragraph will be from the perspective of the author, and the next paragraph will be from the perspective of the woman being chased. It's written in a style where you are switching perspectives like crazy, and it feels like you are watching the movie from different angles, from different shots, from different perspectives. If you watch a lot of rom-com movies, your favorite movie for example is Just Like Heaven, then I will recommend 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is the story of an apartment that travels in time 7 years, and our main female character inherits it from her aunt, and she finds her love of her life there. And this is everything that I would want from a movie, because I remember that I used to love watching these magical rom-com movies where I can completely switch off my brain and take a time out and just enjoy this story where I know it has a happily ever after. This one gave me all the feels. There are also so many beautiful quotations in this book, so even if this is your first book, you will see just how beautiful writing can be and how it can resonate with you. If you want a spicy romance book, you want to read some smut in there, then you can read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This one also is a very short bingeable read. It's so cutesy, it's so romancy. The main male character is literally the man of my dreams, Adam. After years of reading and reading so many romance novels, Adam is still one of my most favorite male characters ever. Love Hypothesis is the story of Oliver, who is trying to convince her best friend that she does not love her ex anymore because her best friend loves her ex, and so she kisses one of the professors where she works. In the end, in the rom-com section, if you like movies where the main character is going on an adventure, a journey, or a vacation, and she's not really able to find herself and she's going on this self-discovery journey, for example, we have Leap Year, and you will enjoy The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella a lot. If you like Confessions Confessions of a Shopaholic. That movie is a classic. This book is written by the same author who has written that book. This one is the story of our main female character who is burnt out to the point where she rushes out of her office to the church to become a nun because she's like, I can't take this anymore, and so she has to take a vacation. She goes on the vacation and we see how she heals from her burnout, and it also has romance in it. This one is not primarily romance, but the romance hits so hard because of how well built our main character is. If you enjoy watching reality TV, you can basically pick any of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, but the two books that I will recommend the most, first one, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is the story of Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a band. They reached the peak of their career and they decided to disband themselves. They decided that we don't want to work anymore, and years later we see exactly what happened during that time. This entire book is written in interview style, so it is basically like reality TV. You also get to see the perspective of all of the people in that band, also the manager. You see how different people remember different things about the same situation. There's so much drama, there's so much emotion, there's so much good and bad happening, and you're trying to decide whether you root for this character or not, because the character has done something that they themselves know, okay, I know this was not right, but this is what I did. What am I gonna do about it? And the consequences of their action. This one gripped me like crazy, yet again brought me out of a reading slump. I've seen so many people who never ever read books read this book and be like, wait, what? Books are like this? Another recommendation by Taylor Jenkins Reid is Malibu Rising, which is a story of this family, this big rich family, but you get to see the behind the scene drama. One very popular book by Taylor Jenkins Reid is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, where Evelyn Hugo is this big actress and you get to see the behind the scenes of her life. And the reason I like these books is because it's about these rich people. You would think that they have no problems at all, but they have so many problems. If you like to watch historical movies that are set during the partition, during the World War II, for World War II, you should read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, because it is based on the true story. It's a story of two sisters trying to survive the war, both of them very different from each other. We get to see both of their perspectives, and it is endearing, it is tragic, it is brutal, and it is very realistic because Kristen Hanna has done a lot of research. If you want to read a book based on the partition, you can read the Book of Everlasting Things by Anchal Malhotra, which is the story of these two characters who meet each other at a very tender young age, only for the partition to take place after a certain amount of time. And you see the effects of the partition not only on these two characters but their entire families, the entire world, and the effects are brutal, yet again tragic. So if you think to yourself that, oh, I don't read books because I'm not really interested in romance and thrillers, there's so much more out there. If you watch serials like Mahadev and Ramayana on TV, then you can start reading with Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee Devakarani, which is a story of Ramayana but from Sita's perspective. Or you can also read Asura by Anand Neelkantan, which is the story of Ramayana from Ravan's perspective. You can also read Jaya by Devdutt Pattanayak, which is the story of Mahabharata, but it's written in a beautiful, encapturing way. And in the end, if you watch fantasy movies, movies with dragons in them, movies with magic in them, and you want the same adrenaline pumping feeling from books, then you can start with one, The Six of Crows duology. It is 2 books. It is the story of these 6 people that come together for a heist, and you get to see the entire story roll out from each of their perspective. Very encapturing, very fast paced, very binge worthy. Or if you want a book with dragons because you like dragons and movies too, then you will love Fourth Book by Rebecca Yarros. I think it is a great beginner friendly fantasy book. If you have never read any book before and you want to see if books can have that X element in it, that fantastical world in it, but you are also not ready for heavy world building, then this is the perfect book for you. Reason number 3 why people don't read or fall off of reading: it does not capture your attention. We live in the age of media. It is so easy for us to consume tons and tons of content within 15 minutes because of reels, and obviously our attention spans have decreased like crazy, which is an acceptable reason as to why you can't freaking focus on words on paper. One of the best solutions I have for you is to start listening to audiobooks, and yes, listening to audiobooks is still reading. This is also a good solution if you do not have time to read but you have a commute time, so you can just listen to it. If you are in college, during your break while eating, you can listen to the book. Here are my recommendations. One, we have thrillers, we have Sadie by Courtney Summers. This is the story of Sadie, whose young sister dies, and we see the journey she goes on because it affects her so deeply because she loved her sister so much. The reason it is so encapsulating is because there are so many sound effects in this book that when I was listening to it, I actually do not even feel like I am reading a book. I think that these book recommendations that I'm giving you, their experience was even better than reading a book because of the sound effects, because of the multiple narrations that they have, and Sadie is one of the best examples of that. Another book I listened to as an audiobook, and oh my god, I fell in love with audiobooks. I fell in love with reading. It was one of my first thrillers. At that time, I was only reading non-fiction books. It's Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. This is the story of a couple that is having some issues between themselves. That's all I'm going to tell you. You have to listen to it and you just have to trust me on this. This can be one of the most life-changing books for you, not because it's going to inspire you to make a lot of money, but because you will realize just how crazy books can be, especially as an audiobook. I listened to it as an audiobook. I have watched the series, I have the paperback. Audiobook is the best version ever because of the multiple narration. Next up, we have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which is the story of Frances, who is a topper. She's a perfectionist. While the pressure of getting into her favorite college is going on, one of her saving graces is this podcast that she listens to. When you're listening to the audiobook, the podcast effects are there. Yet again, it does not feel like you are reading words on paper. It is so much more engaging. Radio Silence in itself is such a beautiful story of all of these kids and the pressure that they go through. So if you are especially a teenager, or if you're in your mid-20s, I think you will enjoy this book a lot. One of the best things you can do with audiobooks is escape into another world, and if you want a fantasy recommendation for it, another series that so many people have started their reading journeys with, we have the Harry Potter series on audiobook. You can obviously also read it if you want to read it, but the audiobooks can be such a good experience. It is easy to read and it is so encapturing. When you're listening to it, especially at night, you will actually feel like you are there. Reason number 4 why people don't read or fall off of reading: they hated reading when they were in school. Now that I have grown up, now that I'm reading because I want to read books, even if I'm reading these classics, I actually really enjoy them. So if you still feel like you are not ready to read books because there was too much pressure when you were in school or college, and now you don't have it in you to pick up a book, I am here to rewire your brain with these recommendations. Little Women is one of the most recommended books in school, and it is a classic. I want you to read Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. This one is based on Little Women. This one is also the story of 4 sisters in an Italian-American family, and there is a lot going on in their lives. We also have multiple perspectives in this, so you can see what is going on from the perspective of 3 characters. And even though it is based on a classic, it is one of the best books that I have ever read. Next up, the Hunger Games trilogy, which is a modern day classic, and you read it and you realize that classics are not boring. There is so much fun that you can have with classics. In this dystopian world where the Hunger Games are held every year and 2 volunteers go from every state, Katniss doesn't really want to go into the Hunger Games. He is pushed into it. So when you read the book, you see why, and you see how fast-paced, interesting, engaging, adrenaline pumping classics can be. It is a 3-book series, and it is totally understandable that you are not ready to commit to a series when you are starting to read a book. So you can actually read the first book and decide that I don't want to read further, because it does tie up a lot of loose ends, but it also leaves a lot of things which, if you choose, you can continue to read in Catching Fire. And I am just letting you know, Catching Fire is one of the best books that I've ever read. Hunger Games is also turned into movies, so if you have already watched it as movies, while I really enjoyed the movies, you can also read these books. The Giver by Lois Lowry is another modern day classic, which is a story of this world where there is no emotion, there is no art, there is no pain, there is no war. So there are positives and negatives to it, except our main male character becomes the receiver of memory, and he gets to know what the world was like before all of these things happened. This one yet again is a movie, but the movie does not do justice to the book. The book is so adventurous, so engaging, so easy to read. The Harry Potter series is also a modern day classic. Then we have Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, which is the story of these 2 kids who were best friends, and one of them really wants to please the other one, so he does anything anything he can to bring a smile on his face, Amir does something that is so brutal that he now has to live his entire life filled with regret. This one is a little slow paced, yes, just like classics are, but it is so emotional, it is so engaging. It's one of the first fiction books that got me into fiction books, and a lot of people start reading because of Kite Runner. And in the end, one of the not so popular modern day classics, we have Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. This one is one of my most favorite books ever. It is also a movie, and I enjoyed the movie a lot, but the book is just so much more deeper. It is a story of this boy who loses his father during 9/11, and they always used to go on adventures. So when he goes to his father's room and finds a key, he thinks that his father has actually left this one last adventure for him, and he goes on this search to see what that key fits. So the entire state of New York, around 80 million locks and one key. This one yet again is a little slow paced, it's wordy, but it is so emotional. So I would not recommend you read this if you're going for genres like romance and thriller, if you're looking for bingeable books. But if you want something deep and emotionally palpable, then you will enjoy this book a lot, and you will see how classics are not all bad. These books will actually help you to get over the trauma of reading forcefully and not being able to when you were in school. In the end, reason number 5, I do not feel motivated to read. I have got you covered. You need to understand why people read, what effects books can have in your life. First up, we have The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adam. This one is a story of people who do not read. There is literally a library that is about to close down because people in that area are not reading, except multiple characters are going through different problems in their life, and they just end up in that library with that reading list, and they decide, okay, I'll just read one book on this reading list, I'll just read the second book on this reading list, only to see how these fiction books are actually so relatable for them, how it is actually impacting their life. They can draw the parallels, and it is so nice to see them discover their love for fiction books. So just how reading and fiction books can actually change your daily life, the effects it can have on a day-to-day basis, how empathetic it makes you, how kind it makes you, and how relatable it can be, especially when you are not able to find people in your life who are going through the same thing as you are going. There is definitely some character going through the same thing, exactly same thing that you are going through. And the second book recommendation is Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. This one is a fantasy, it has thriller aspect to it. This one also actually is very good to start with if you don't know where to start from. This is the story of the Book of Doors. If you have this book within your hands, any door is every door, so you can travel anywhere you want to travel, and our main character gets it. But there are a lot of other people also looking for this book because they want the powers for themselves. You will see just how cozy and amazing reading can be, just how people look at books, how they want to take care of it. Those were the top 5 reasons why people don't read, the solution, book recommendations, and I really hope you got at least one out of it and you will want to start reading this year. If you have any questions, please put it in the description. I will try to answer it, because my entire purpose of having this channel is to have as many readers as possible in the world, because reading is amazing, it's a beautiful journey, and I want you to experience it.